The little girl is eating with her mother when she suddenly notices that her mother's reflection in the mirror is covered in injuries. The little girl looks at her mother again, and she appears normal. Her mother finds this strange and turns to look at the mirror, asking her daughter what's wrong. The daughter asks if something bad happened to her mother. Her mother tells her not to imagine things and goes to wash the dishes. But then something even more bizarre happens. The mother suddenly stops what she's doing and begins twisting her body in a disturbing way. The daughter trembles with fear and shakily calls out, "Mom!" Her mother finally stops, but when she turns around, her face has transformed into that of an old woman. Annie wakes up with a start. It was just a dream. But by now, 2 people have already died on the plane. Annie feels this is all connected to an old woman from 20 years ago. Then another strange incident occurs. Annie sees an old lady enter the bathroom, but after an hour, she still hasn't come out. When the flight attendant opens the door, there's no one inside. The flight attendant even claims there was never any old lady on the flight. Annie is confused. As she prepares to return to her seat, the old man who had died suddenly opens his eyes and reaches out to grab her. While dodging, Annie falls onto her seat. At that moment, numerous black arms appear from the seat, firmly pinning Annie down. She struggles desperately as they force her to face one direction. When Annie opens her eyes, she sees row 19. She remembers the scene of the plane crash again, with the old woman behind her continuously muttering something. Annie wakes up again, and everything returns to normal. Believing it's the old woman's curse, she prepares to leave the cabin with her daughter. But her daughter refuses to leave, and 2 flight attendants block Annie, adamantly preventing her departure. Just then, the flight attendants begin to vomit water and quickly collapse to the floor like drowning victims. This further convinces Annie they must leave immediately. As she passes by the artist, she discovers he has already painted scenes of everyone's deaths, including the visions from Annie's dream. But before Annie can ask why, the artist's body suddenly bursts into flames, turning to ashes in an instant. Annie believes the old woman is behind all this and frantically tries to escape with her daughter. But the reporter and flight attendant immediately chase after them, urging Annie not to leave and claiming everything they're doing is to protect her.